And the week in pro wrestling is starting off a bit real with Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair on this week's Monday Night Raw. So we got that and all the latest wrestling news, rumors, and reports. Let's not waste any time, hit those notifications, and let's get right into it. And let's start off with that Nia Jax versus Charlotte Flair matchup. As we got to see, they seem to have gotten into a real fight on Monday Night Raw. We had Nia Jax getting a clean victory over the WWE Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair in a non-title match, but the story coming out of that match was that things seemed to fall off the rails, and that was very clear. There was some stiff shot being thrown at one another. They got very rough with each other towards the end of their match, with Nia Jax holding Charlotte Flair up against the ropes. She followed it up with a hard slap. It looked like Charlotte Flair sandbagged Nia Jax on a Samoa drop, at least in 2 different occasions. That means that she was not letting herself get carried for Nia Jax to easily perform that Samoan drop. Charlotte Flair then accurately ran the ropes, and then Nia Jax tried to Samoa drop her once again, but instead Charlotte stopped her, trying to do another awkward drop. If you watch those 45 seconds of the match, then you could clearly see that they were very frustrated. They were definitely not in sync, and as Wrestling News.co ended up indicating, what is for sure is that both women appeared to be very angry and frustrated at each other. Things seems to have started when Nia Jax dropped Charlotte Flair on her head, and it was a bad drop. After that, Charlotte Flair seems to have been looking for some receipts. There was obviously a lot of people talking about this on social media, including Mick Foley, who tweeted out that he would like to know what the hell was that between Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair. We're still waiting for more updates, but the Wrestling Observer Radio did indicate that the two of them tried to turn things into a work shoot, meaning that it was still controlled, but obviously it came out to be very sloppy. And as we got to see, they were more frustrated out of everything that came out of it. I'm sure Charlotte and Nia Jax were not the only 2 superstars that were frustrated last night, as everything that was advertised for the show ended up being changed. They advertised 3 different matches, none of which ended up happening because we ended up getting something completely different, with some reports even indicating that Vince McMahon was said to be in a bad mood heading into Monday Night Raw. Yesterday was also said to be a quote-unquote crazy day backstage before the show, which as PW Insider confirmed beforehand, of course there were a lot of switches going around. So sounds like a typical Monday. Monday Night Raw seems to have been just chaos backstage, and not just backstage, because we more or less got a disaster of an episode this week. Before we talk about it though, let's talk some quick news. According to PW Insider, Adam Cole is now officially considered to be done with WWE. They indicate that a memo was sent out via email to let everyone know that he is no longer with the company. These type of emails are sent out to make sure the different departments are in sync. The interesting thing about all of this though is that Adam Cole is currently listed as an active superstar on the WWE website, but expect that to change very soon. So it looks like it's true, he is definitely headed to AEW, and in all technicality he could show up on AEW this week, as his contract ended up expiring on Friday. WrestleVotes ended up giving us an update in regards to Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg too, indicating that as if it wasn't obvious already, sources states that WWE is planning on the Goldberg versus Lashley rematch to take place in Saudi Arabia in October. Not really a surprise here, but I did call this out before even SummerSlam. It just became kinda obvious because it's ridiculous how much WWE stocked up these shows when they go overseas, and then a lot of the time it doesn't even deliver as much as we expect. According to new reports, WWE is working on repackaging Keith Lee with a new character, and they want to make him a new monster heel on the roster. This had to previous reports from PW Insider indicating that Keith Lee has been doing short squash matches before Monday Night Raw and SmackDown as a way to refine him and figure out what works for him. Keith Lee has been getting babyface reaction during the dark matches, but Wrestling News.co indicates indicates that their sources were told that Vince McMahon has considered turning him into a monster heel. And I don't know about you guys, but I am all down for that. So bring it on. Make this man limitless. Give him a monster push and a potential title run later on. And it's gonna be gold because he could get it done. Onto some other quick news. WWE Paige confirmed that she is working on an in-ring return and she would love to wrestle the likes of Beth Phoenix. She recently tweeted out that she's not done yet, and on her Twitch she indicated that her WWE contract is up in June of 2022 and she doesn't know if they want to offer her a new contract, but again, she is not done, as she indicated that she is working hard to make a comeback to wrestling and that it's not gonna happen tomorrow for say, but she is on the journey of returning. She then went on to criticize WWE Women's Tag Team Titles division, which there is no division for, and how WWE is poorly booking all of that, including Bianca Belair losing the SmackDown Women's title. She was very critical about the women's wrestling in WWE, which let's be honest, we all are, and rightfully so because WWE needs to do better with it. Some quick results of what went down on this week's Monday Night Raw. I could try to break down the initial segment of that show, but honestly, I don't even want to. WWE tried to combine two different segments into one to make two different matches that weren't even advertised. It's because they just wanted to change things. It was a puzzle trying to figure it out. We had Lashley MVP taking on RK Bro later tonight, and then Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Again, just a horrible segment to set up two matches when they could have gone in a different way. The action though started off with Rhea Ripley defeating Shayna Baszler. Looks like Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross will soon be Women's Tag Team Champions as they're getting built as a team. We had the Viking Raiders defeating Jinder Mahal and Veer. United States Championship match, Damian Priest defeating Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in a triple threat matchup. Actually a decent match, and I love how they're making Damian Priest looks pretty good on these. Doudrop basically destroyed Eva Marie, so Eva Marie wasn't able to compete in her match. We had Karen Cross defeating Humberto Carrillo. If that is still Karen Cross, I don't know, you tell me. Nia Jax defeated the Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, and we all know how that disaster went. Listen WWE, we don't deserve another rematch of this, trust me, just don't ever give it to us. Omos defeated John Morrison in one-on-one competition. It is John Morrison, so Omos looked okay in there, but Omos needs some work if he's gonna be a single star, of course. So hopefully they keep him with AJ Styles as long as possible. AJ Styles defeated Xavier Woods in one-on-one competition, and this was a good match as well. And for the main event, we had the Raw Tag Team Champions RK Bro defeating WWE Champion Bobby Lashley and MVP. MVP was the one getting pinned here. In the end, Bobby Lashley took an RKO from Randy Orton, and RK Bro got the last laugh. Not too sure where WWE is headed with this for the next pay-per-view Extreme Rules. Monday Night Raw was probably booked during the actual show, so I guarantee you WWE still has no idea what they're gonna give us at that pay-per-view. So tonight was probably them trying to figure it out. Anyways, that is all the latest and what went down on this week's Monday Night Raw. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Elbow drop a like if you found it informative, and I'll catch you on the next one, so stay savage.